Good day, everyone. All right, long time no see. Let me get the link shared out. We'll dive into the charts. Hey everyone, how's it going? All right, we'll give everyone a couple minutes to get in here, and we'll take a look at some things. Been absolutely killing this price action. Really couldn't be happier with how I've been trading it. So we'll see. We'll see if we can string together another win here. It actually may be the case that I'll end up taking a trade on this live stream. I'm a little interested in this, but we can talk about the idea. There's a huge region down here that's quite important that we'll take a look at. And we haven't quite tapped it yet. The bottom might be in. I took some longs on alts. But the main idea I've been trading towards is this Gartly idea. So I initially shared it here at the 886. And I did say I had a short there on X. But in the members Discord, I'm walking through kind of the play-by-play of all my trades. So I took a short, took profits, added back to my short, took profits. Actually caught a nice little long setup in here. And I long set up here as well. Printed like 0.7R or something. But anyways, woke up, added a bit more to my shorts, and I might take another short here today. And maybe I'll go over the idea of that short. It might not work. But anyways, the general idea here, I'll just kind of give the premise of the short because it may come quickly. There is the idea of just like tapping this trend line, sweeping this high. It's kind of just a nice clean idea. But I like the confluence here of the point of control. And the 786 locally, the 618. Run that point of control. I may enter aggressively at the level. It just depends what's going on there in order flow. Leave a little bit of room. Just ultimately, invalidation could be a bit higher too. Probably going to be sized for something like this. Looking for another lower high. And there's a little local high here to tag as well. The alternative would be to wait for price to reject and come back, break back below this high. So anyways, I might just enter aggressively depending on what's happening in order flow. So that trade setup may come. There's a bunch of ways to look at all this. I don't know how much time I really want to spend getting into some of the various Elliott wave stuff. Could count it as an ABC WXY. I was looking at one of X-Force's accounts. I hadn't looked at one in a while. I felt like I had a pretty clean read on price action here. There's so many ways all this stuff could play out, but this could be our this could be something like our A, B, C for the final leg down. The Gartly target comes in right around 97K. If you're on log, basically it would just be running this local low. That would be the culmination of the Gartly. That's probably where I want to start scaling into my long. Some other levels down here that are really nice. The point of control, taking some of this lows, like not retesting this previous high. It's a pretty big region, but because the Gartly technical kind of termination point is like right here, I think this has to be the where longs become the preference. There are some other ideas of going much deeper under 88K, in which case I'll probably be taking a stop loss on this long, taking a new setup. And of course, we may not even get this low, right? We could just rally straight to all-time highs. Who knows? But I've won so much off of this Gartly idea already. Kind of happy to, no matter how it plays out here. Yeah, so it should be interesting. This might actually be kind of interesting price action for a live stream. I'd mentioned a little bit earlier about wanting to I've already done a video on this, so I won't cover it. If you're kind of interested in how I've been trading this in the Discord, I made a little video sharing some of my thoughts. But for those who don't know, Discord is, this is, we're shorting up at the 886 at 110,000. Had this, basically, in the high time frame updates since this Gartly target down towards 97,300, basically just been taking shorts, right? That's the, I've taken a few longs. 2 worked, 1 didn't. Just intermediary long setups, but I already went through all this. This is just me over the last couple weeks sharing my trade ideas. This was the long that worked. The idea of just running this local high here. Well, this chart's so messy now. Just here, that was this long. Run the high, then rotate down to the lows. So anyways, the one thing I don't like about this current low, the thing I like about it as a potential major low is it's a nice reaction. Reclaiming this is kind of important. But we front run the Gartly target, and we front run some of the other major levels that are, frankly, look quite nice, would have us go deeper than the Gartly target, which what I like about this now is that we have this low very close to the final target for the Gartly, so it should be relatively straightforward to trade something in here if we get that low. If we want to look at this from an Elliott Wave perspective, looking for some kind of zigzag here, well, 5 waves down, A, B, C, 5 waves down to complete our C. Might work. But we'll see. If we just break straight out here, then that all kind of becomes irrelevant. There is currently a 50% discount to join the Discord. It's only happened one time before. And you have to use code Gartly to celebrate the culmination of the Gartly here. Anyways, I'm probably just going to lock in here. We'll take a look at order flow as we take the highs here, because I might be taking a short. And then maybe we'll look at some alts. We'll see if we run this high. I kind of like the idea of running this trend line. And, one thing I'll say is I wouldn't recommend, I'm not sharing these trades so they can be copy traded. If you don't know how to trade, I'm coming off a big series of wins, but I also have lost trades too, right? If you don't know how to manage your risk or understand the trade setups, Don't try to copy trade. This isn't financial advice. I'm not telling anyone else to take trades. I'm just explaining the trades I'm taking and why. If you go to the Discord or on X, I give the code on there. Scroll down a couple posts. Gartley. All right. So we can take a look at order flow here. I mean, I think this is kind of an important idea for a potential lower high here. Up around 104,677. I might enter aggressively and I might just instantly get stopped out. That's okay with me. We'll see. If I like what I see, I'll just take the trade. Put on a little bit of risk. We're about to take these highs. So we can see here, price has been grinding up. Lots of aggression here. Big positive delta. A lot of shorts getting stopped out here. And here we saw a big sell-off, kind of get absorbed a little bit of a bullish divergence here, nothing major. See if we can run these highs and tap that nice level. I'll look to take a continuation trade. What will be interesting about this setup is that you wouldn't be surprised to trap a lot of longs up here. I mean, relatively speaking, there hasn't been that much aggression into this, so there's a lot of people still sidelined and probably still short. And it's kind of hard not to just fire off the long when you see this breakout and the downtrend breakout, and then get trapped into something like this. And it could be a nice setup. We might just blast through it though. We'll see. You just wouldn't be surprised to see tons of shorts close here and a lot of longs open up. So it certainly looks like the low bottom probably in, and it may be. Am I on? Yeah. So this is I scaled into a long trade here on Doge. I guess I can go to this and answer a common question here while we wait. I'll probably pan over to Bitcoin. So this was the original idea here. We didn't quite run up this high, but we got the general structure up when we were around 25 cents, 26 cents, and I was looking for this big rotation down, to this level here. We have this level marked out for the potential wave 2. So this update was back in, I guess it's not that long ago, is it? It's a couple months ago, month and a half ago. But anyways, we came down to that level and I took the long. And a common question that I get is and I'll talk about an XRP trade as well. A common question I get is why am I long? This is before we came down to the level, just saying, you can see the post above, but interested in this swing long on Doge as well, coming down, tagging that level. So as price came down into the level, I scaled in half on the weekend because I wasn't going to be around. It's a bit of a region, and then I added the other half to my long down at the peak of bottom there. And so anyways, the common question I would get is, well, if I'm short here on, if at this point we have Bitcoin kind of in this region, and if I'm looking for here, why would I take the Doge long? Well, this is a pretty big region, and what I typically do is I try not to get too biased about the culmination of one idea, which is, say, the Bitcoin Gartly target being like a perfect 786 tag, that I would just ignore this plan that I've had this trade that I've had planned for a long time, right? So I've been waiting for this. This is a 42% pullback from the highs. I've been waiting for this setup for a long time. And so when this level comes, I'm not going to say, well, Bitcoin hasn't quite got, because that was never part of my plan here on Doge. I don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I'm trading the Doge chart separately. I mean, in some ways you could say it's kind of surprising that Doge ever got here. It's been quite weak. And who knows, right? So maybe what happens is this happens on Doge, or some big bullish catalyst happens. This is kind of a SR level here. Maybe we get that last impulse, and Doge retraces for, maybe it doesn't even retrace, maybe it just consolidates, maybe it retraces for a lower or higher low. Well, Bitcoin is much weaker and runs its low. But anyways, it's just nice to be in that long. I mean, I just take it because I had it planned. The other setup I took, which I am still in, is this on XRP into this GP. And if you go on log scale, the GP is a little deeper, but I mean, the idea is actually similar. Trading this towards all-time highs as a 1-2. If we do get the retracement on Bitcoin, wouldn't be surprised to see these lows retested or something like that. But anyways, these are just big. There's a big region on the chart, so we'll see. Someone asked me to look at ETH. ETH, really nice ping off the GP. Really nice clean rejection off those highs. I mean, I'll just say, you know, if anyone wants my bias, it's that all-time highs are on the way for Bitcoin and some number of alts. I think, you know, I'm not particularly bearish on the medium to high time frames, which might seem a little strange that I've just been shorting in here, but it's just technical shorts, right? Technical shorts to, like for example, the Gartly is a bullish. This is a bullish Gartly, so the D leg ends quite bullishly. Is the idea. I have some messy charts here. It's probably a little bit of a channel idea here as well. I would imagine, you know, maybe there's some kind of news catalyst to bring us there. Someone's asking, is the 194 plan good for beginners? Can I pay with Solana? You can pay with altcoins. Right now it's 50% off, so it's for the next 9 days with that code. And if you pay with Solana, you just pay half price. But it only goes for the monthly plan. Is it good for beginners? Well, you know what? I'll give you guys a quick review of what the differences between the two Discords are. Basically, there's a bunch of educational content. The way the Discord works out, you have headers, educational content, so we can close all these headers. You know, this is the non-members Discord. The educational content is available in both of the Discords. So, you know, this is basically just all written content with slides. There's some videos in here as well, but you go through it. It explains a bunch of topics. And then this video content is breaking down specific concepts. You can access some of that in through here. So gallery view, basically you have headers, risk management, order flow, scalping, trading psychology, probabilities, volume profiles, Fibonacci, liquidity grab setup, structuring trades. There's just different sections. So the point is it good for beginners? Well, the difference is going to be this. You're going to get the educational content with both of the memberships. You will not be getting the live trading updates. with the lower tier. And the reason I recommend people go through the educational content before live trading updates if you're a brand new trader is because it's gonna be helpful to understand what's going on when you see, basically, like, here's an example of some updates. When I'm looking to short this 786 here, so I'm looking to short this level, and I'd already shared it, so I shared the idea before into the weekend. So I'm looking to short this 786. As price is going through, I'm giving the or as price is coming up to the level, I'm giving some order flow updates. 152 million delta. That's some of the stuff we'll probably be looking at today on the live stream. If these highs get taken, we might have to hop over there quickly. So I'm saying I'm interested in shorting the rejection here and just kind of go through the process. I won't short if this happens. So now I'm on the 1 minute chart as we approach the level. But anyways, the point is, some of this stuff might be overwhelming, right? If you're a new trader, some absorption, I'm explaining the order flow here. If you're brand new, you've never seen these topics, these live updates, it will have been helpful to have gone through the order flow content, but you can still do that, with either membership. So it's just up to you. Basically just saying I'm waiting to take the trade as time goes by. And then anyways, I end up getting and I say I entered here. So I ended up getting the Pico top short there on the 5 minute chart. And then ultimately price just went straight down and that was the high, right? So, but that process, I basically walking through my trades, the things I'm looking at. I'm not going to explain the concepts every time I talk about them, right? So you'll have to go to the educational content to get like a better understanding of what these things mean. And I wasn't on the Discord, sorry. Anyways, I was just sharing, basically walking through the setup I was interested in, that when I'm preparing to short, I'm waiting to short, talking about the order flow there, saying I'm still waiting here, getting down to the 5 minute chart, here I entered, blah, 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 but explaining, and then price goes down, nice short setup. But it doesn't always, trades don't always work, right? But anyway, so it used to be that was the only way to join the Discord was with that membership. And obviously the reason I do those updates is because there's no better way to learn all this stuff than live market examples, right? If I'm doing it every single day, week after week after week, it really helps solidify the ideas rather than watching a 15-minute video that covers the concept in one or two specific cases. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just up to you. I think a lot of people would say that it gets that there's a lot of value in the higher tier membership with the live updates because they are educational in nature. They're not signals. Yes, I'm explaining the trades I'm taking, but I'm explaining the things I'm looking at, right? So I'm doing it for an educational reason. But if you have zero experience trading, it probably leans on overwhelming. So that's why I made the cheaper membership that just gives you the educational content, and you can just go through that beforehand. Okay, we're gonna hop over to order flow here. Like I said, I mean, this trade may or may not work. We'll see. I may or may not even end up taking it. At this rate, probably will. Oh, the order flow is like cut off. There we go. Okay, so not surprising, kind of what I expected to see. some big volume, some big delta, tons of shorts closing here, decreasing open interest on Bybit, Binance, increasing open interest. So people are aggressively buying. Some of that is shorts closing at market, some of that is new longs opening. And so for me, as price comes into a major level, that's what I would like to see. I like to see a lot of that aggression coming in, setting up the potential for a trap for some of these aggressive traders. I wouldn't be surprised to get some volatility here. I mean, technically, if you just start shorting a sweep of the previous high, I do like the technical confluence of pushing higher. We'll see. Lots of ways to think about trading it, but I'm not going to enter yet. Just to give the sense of what I'm looking at here on the other chart. I'm going to hop over here one more time. I'm looking at basically shorting something like this, a push up into this region, big point of control, 618, 786, some local highs to take there, but any weakness from here should technically be taken seriously. You know, an alternative is just to look for this to fail and could consider putting on some risk there, but we'll see. Because when a bunch of longs open aggressively like this and then price rejects and they're all trapped up at the highs, then you're not necessarily surprised to see price start coming down quickly. But it can all kind of, you know, they can close aggressively, reopen, close, and you can end up pushing up to the target anyways. But right now it's a breakout, both of the trend line and the horizontal level. That's what we want to see. We want to see that breakout. For me, for this short setup, I want to see the breakout hold. I want to see price push up higher. Really, really aggressive risk coming in on the long side, and then hopefully we reject and they'll get smoked. You can see this big cluster volume up here. So the delta is already decreasing here within the candle. I don't know what it peaked at. It was 100 and some million, right? But now you can see on the sell side the aggressive shorts coming here too. Aggressive shorts, aggressive longs. For me, you know, if I was definitely just from like a scalping perspective, you might be looking at scalping some of that aggression. But you would probably even be looking to, you know, pull some of that off pretty quick here. We'll see if the retest holds. It's not a big deal for me if I don't get the short here, if I don't get a clean trigger that I like, but I'm not going to short now. I mean, it's unlikely that I wouldn't get a clean trigger. Price would have to go straight down. Might happen because I have other shorts running still. So if I get something I really like here, I'll add. So the reason I'm not taking the short yet, although I wouldn't be surprised to see price do this, is just on a really basic level. You know, the alternative short setup here would be that price runs these highs and has a failed breakout and breaks back below, and that could be considered a short trigger like this. But for now, we're trading above the highs. We're not surprised to see this impulse, some retracement here, some of that aggression start selling off. Now, you know, this is where you might just be taking a trade like this aggressively. It's not the craziest thing. It's very possible too that you just end up with something like this, right? You come up and run into the level later. I'll bring some alerts here and here. One thing that can always get a little bit, you know, when you're waiting for a setup like this, one thing you have to consider, like let's say you want this and price does an impulse straight there, and you start feeling like, oh no, I've missed the setup. But I mean, price can literally do this for a 24 hours and then do that, right? Like you can get really, really like hyper focused on what's happening here, and just forget sometimes how long it takes for ideas to play out. This is a good example. When I took this initial short at the 886 and I took profits, I could have just left this short running. I could have just left that short running, but I know that price probably isn't going to go straight down into this level. So I take the initial short, take some profits, take a long, add to my short, take some profits on this short, take a long, and you're just kind of working your way down to the level, right? Although it could have just been traded as one trade. But the point is, it gets, even if you took this initial short, if you're not taking profits and finding a long setup, it can get quite difficult to sit in this trade through here, because this is going to stop a lot of people out, like in slight profits. Even if you shorted kind of around the Pico top here, it's not uncommon for people to, this happens and they move their stop down into profits, right? And so their stop is like here and they end up literally getting almost nothing out of the trade, and then in this case, taking some off here. That's nice. I'd say this structure still looks quite bullish, just on the low time frames, the 1 minute. I mean, I don't even really want to think too much about the Elliott wave, but I think it would be like on the low time frames, it would be something like I mean, this is your A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I wouldn't mind just getting a range here, then come up and run the highs, get a nice clean trigger that way. We'll see. I'm not going to stare at this too much more. We'll take another look if this breaks down. The other thing, actually, since I was on the topic of the Discord, if you join, I know everybody's probably sick and tired of AI, but if you do join, take advantage of this bot. This is in the members area, the lucky bot right here up above the general chat room, and it's trained on tens of thousands of all my trading updates, all the educational materials, and it can reference back to stuff. So if you're looking for videos on certain topics, it can link to those, and it's quite good. So definitely utilize that tool, spam it with questions. It's not perfect, but it's quite good. Can you pay with Apple Pay? No. I think you can pay with PayPal or crypto. I think PayPal you can just pay with a credit card. I don't even think you need a PayPal account, but I'm not sure. I'm skimming through the chat. Margin Call says, you've been seeing the trades I posted this month in your server. I've probably seen some of them. I can't recall any offhand, but I'm sure I have. I don't, I know this is, I'll occasionally like look at charts and think about the setups of like posts I see, but I don't spend that much time looking at other people's trade ideas. It's just I don't have time to, right? I mean, there's thousands of people, and I'm more interested in my ideas personally. But that doesn't mean I don't ever look at them. Someone's asking, can I use the order flow I learned in Discord, or do I need a specific tool that costs money? You don't need a tool that costs money. The tool I use costs money, but there's free alternatives like Addis. So if we just have like a big nuke here, then I mean, yeah, you could make a case for just taking that short there, but I don't feel particularly, I might regret it. I don't feel particularly good about swing shorting there, or shorting to the low from there, but it's not a crazy setup at all. This is just a swing failure setup, right? You have the highs swept, rejected in the trend line, and looks like that. But I don't mind. I mean, yeah, if price goes straight down here, then I'm definitely not in this setup. There might be a different setup somewhere else. I don't mind waiting to see if a range plays out here in the low time frames. But this would have been a nice scalp setup, fading the aggressive longs, even just TPing into these lows. May as well just talk about the order flow here for a second, which is you basically have all of these, all this aggression up at the highs. We see the positive delta, the increasing open interest, and then we see those people wrecked. Now, the negative delta, all the aggressive selling, decreasing open interest, so those are stop losses. Those are, a lot of that is going to be people who longed up at this high on this breakout, now getting wrecked. And price could start ranging here, and you could see maybe people start shorting into the lows, and then price rallies, they get stopped out, and they long back into the highs. And but yeah, you definitely, this is, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to classify breakout trades as FOMO trades, because that's not really true. It's not every breakout trade's a FOMO trade, but just the nature of this has the kind of that FOMO nature, right? Where all of a sudden price pops the high and everyone starts longing aggressively and gets wrecked. Not where I would like to find my longs, that's for sure. Okay, this is important. Someone says, I signed up yesterday. When do you think I'll get access? You should be getting a prompt via email, but via an automated chat on the website, just by instructions there. When you sign up, you can instantly get access. It's automated. You don't have to ask anyone. You don't have to email me. You create your account, and then you log in, and there's a button that says link Discord, and you go and click it. And I'm just going to tell you, because I've had this conversation with enough people to know that it works 100%. They're just not doing it. There's a how to link your Discord channel here. So basically, you're going to log in. You're going to select the plan. If you're doing it via crypto, you're going to submit this form. After you submit this form, you'll be prompted to claim your plan attached to your account in your crypto payment. Then you just log in. You go to the link Discord tab and you click this button, and that will give you a prompt to Discord to get your membership role. And so it sounds complicated, but it's really not. You buy the plan. That prompts you to create a website account with your email and password. You log in and you click link Discord, and it's instant. So do that. Black Belt Knob says, is lower tier good for complete beginners, or is some prior study needed? I would say it's great for beginners. I mean, if you're wanting to go through everything, I'd say it's beginner friendly to get started. I mean, there's a lot of beginners that just start in the higher tier too. But yeah, I mean, so basically I'm going to be, if we don't run these lows again on Bitcoin, then I'm going to have to be looking for different swing long setups. I already have some swing longs on alts, but I'm going full bull mode, I guess, until this level is invalidated. And if you guys want to see what this the high time frame count looks like, it's something like this. I mean, it's let's worry about some of these wave 3s and this wave 5 first, but you know, this is kind of all pulled randomly. It's a big region here. Let's call it 250k to 500k Bitcoin. This was all drawn out a long time ago. This was but this is the idea. It's, you know, 1 2 1 2 1 2, and this would be our green 1 2 potentially here. So, you know, if we go over to this chart, it's like if this, and that sends us into the Giga Bull Run. Never to come back below 110k until we do. And my Doge longs are towards all-time highs. My XRP longs are towards all-time highs. But much like this idea of just, you know, trading the shorts and longs in here, there's going to be opportunities to take mini trades, right? So I'm going to try to capitalize. If that plays out, capitalize on it as much as possible is the plan. Oh yeah, those channels don't exist anymore. Those are dead channels. Someone's saying I'm a premium member, but there are some certain channels I don't see, like the World Series of Trading team. That was a specific channel for a trading event. The high block channels don't exist anymore because that bot doesn't work anymore. Yeah, I still want to do that series. It's just I need to come up with the exact kind of parameters of it and then do it right. I mean, the reality is uh, for me personally, the absolute best thing I can do with my time is focus on my trading. And it's probably one of the best things I can do for the Discord, right? I mean, for the LATF, focus on my trading and share my thoughts and, you know, try to have a good read on price action and try to use it as a learning experience for everyone. But I made a lot of money in the last couple of weeks. And I mean, things take time and energy, right? Like, I mean, all of you guys know this if you've spent any time trading and you've gone into some of the lower time frame stuff and you have a life outside of trading or things that you have to do outside of trading as well. It's an endurance race basically, right? So the truth is, like, I had to do a couple things yesterday and then 2 days ago. Basically, I had two instances where, just because of some things that I'm having to do outside of my regular schedule, it cost me about $50,000. And it was like an hour. And so it's like, anyway, so the point is, you can only do so much right now. I mean, I really want to focus on my trading personally, because that's just something I really want to capitalize on here, especially because I think we're potentially coming into the lower bounds. This is a pretty clean sweep and rejection, by the way. It'd be kind of sad if we don't get a push up into this level, but, you know, maybe we can range here, even maybe retest this previous value area low, something like this, and maybe we find our way there eventually. But anyways, yeah, I just don't want to commit to any new like series. Prod says, sign up for this shit, you won't regret it. True. True. I mean, I really believe that there's probably not a better place to develop as a trader. These questions, it's funny. It's like you almost like feel like people have like adapted to talking to ChatGPT. Somebody says, Purple Punch says, if steroids for low time frame is order flow, what would be the steroids for medium time frame, high time frame swing trades, volumes, macro fundamentals? But it's kind of like, if steroids is for low time frame is order flow, then the steroids for medium time frame and high time frame would be. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, honestly. Someone says, can you talk more about the science of tightening up a trade, dynamically adjusting leverage, stop loss, and position size to accommodate an initially volatile range on a swing? I mean, I would probably need a little bit more context for exactly what you're asking, but if you're basically saying like, whatever, let's use Doge here, because it had a pretty big, quick move to the downside. If you're kind of saying, like let's say like this is a big region of the chart here, between this low and here. I mean, it's not huge, it's 5%, but you basically have this really quick move to the downside. We could probably get into the 15-minute chart here. Let's call it this whole region. So you're kind of saying, like, let's say you enter somewhere in here wider, and then are you saying, like, to dynamically adjust the risk as price starts moving off the level, when is it safe to pull in your position? Like you're entering in on like kind of this volatile sort of dump. I mean, as price starts moving away and structure starts forming. I don't think Doge really got any deep retracements after that. I think it bounced off like the 382 here or something. I did trade this a little bit in here. Actually caught a long right here. But yeah, I think if you're, you know, longing into this, price starts moving away. It just depends on the position. It really depends. There's not even a way to answer the question. You need an example because it just depends what your setup is, right? I'll just say, I mean, my opinion generally speaking is that there's not like there's not good blurby answers for most important questions in trading. And so what I mean by that is there's not like good one sentence answers, or most things are so context dependent. Like there's no quick way to like hack the answer to where it's like, you know, one secret, and that secret's going to be how you solve this problem. And it's kind of like the if steroids for low time frame is order flow, what would be the steroids for medium time frame? It's like there's not really an answer to that question that is probably matters. At least I don't have one. But yeah, like so like here, I mean I might miss the swing short here, but we've taken this high. Like this is kind of a nice scalp idea, but maybe we form the range here or something, and I'm gonna be patient. I mean, we'll see what happens. The thing is, if you miss the trade, there is somewhere between here and back at, you know, 97K, there's probably going to be another setup. That'd be nice. I don't know if this was a follow-up question to something else, but someone just says, what is your entry criteria actually? It depends on the setup, right? Not every trade's the same. Mod says $100 is nothing compared to the amount of money you can lose in the market. I've been a premium user and it's so worth it. I mean, it really is. I would just say, you know, I've had there's been thousands and thousands of members over the years, and it's been, say, 99.9% extremely positive. Chris says Robinhood doesn't let you short crypto, and I feel kneecapped on maximizing these swing trades. As a beginner, should I look at moving exchanges? Currently, I'm pretty negative in my longs. You probably shouldn't be trading as a beginner with live funds. Frankly, you should be paper trading. Like, it's not going to solve your problems just to be able to switch onto an exchange that you can short on and start shorting things. I mean, you'll probably be really negative on your shorts as well. You have to learn how to trade, right? Whether you're long, like you don't need to be shorting in here to make money, and it's not the reason that you're really negative isn't because you couldn't short, right? You could have been really positive on longs as well. So I would just say that you need to learn how to trade. The problem isn't that you're not shorting. The problem is probably because you could be long only and be doing well, right? I don't give the specific number of members in the Discord, but quite a few. There's a discount right now. There's a 50% discount. Yes, you can use sub accounts if you want to have swing trade positions and then scalping positions, and you want everything to be separated. You could use sub accounts. You could use different exchanges. Wouldn't mind. This is, this is something that, like, there's no sense in for example, sitting on a live stream to talk about taking this trade. When I took, when I took this short here, we can go to the 5-minute chart. I basically just sat here and waited as price ranged. I mean, I didn't sit and wait, but I had alert set. And 3 hours went by, and this happened, and I entered here. But my point is, I might not get the setup. I may or may not. I don't know what's going to happen here. But this is just the type of thing that you also wouldn't be surprised to see it take, 12 hours as a possibility to get there. But anyway, so I probably won't talk about this trade too much more unless price just goes straight up. And if we break down and order flow starts looking really bearish, it doesn't to me particularly at this point. Maybe I short a lower high or something. Do you think news makes the golden pocket or the golden pocket makes the news? Someone's basically asking, do I think the technical levels make the news, or do I think the news makes the technical levels? I mean, I think price moves based on how people are positioning and are already positioned, and the order books and all these things, and there's just some, let's call it some mystical force that makes people make similar decisions collectively over and over and over again. And so, let's call them technical patterns arise because, well, it's like, for example, what just happened here? I mean, the thing that you weren't surprised to see happened, right? Which is everyone just opened a bunch of longs here. And you kind of know they're going to do that before price gets there. And at the lows, what do you think people were doing, right? Actually, was this the low where like giga shorts came in? Or no, it was the low before that. Actually, quite a few came in here too. Let me go to order flow. But anyways, I mean, it's just typically lows are defined by aggressive selling, highs are defined by aggressive buying. Aggressive is at market, right? So somebody clicks and says, I want out, or I want in, or I want short, or I want long. And they do that consistently, and they consistently get wrecked. It's almost never a good idea to open a long here, I would say. I mean, even if price goes higher, it's like there's usually just potentially better setups. I don't know. Price breaks out occasionally, but you know, it's funny because I've been quite busy outside of the more busy than usual. Just been focusing on, setting up my trades each day and taking them. And I've been killing it. I mean, it's like there's nothing in some ways it's like I feel like I have nothing to say on a live stream. It's like what I'm going to be doing over today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week is just setting up my trades, taking them, ideally printing, and a lot of that's going to be waiting, right? I feel like I have a good as far as like people asking questions about this or that, like how what do you do, or how do you know, or when do you enter? It's like, well, I've made videos and have tons of content explaining all of that, right? So you can literally just find out if you're interested, but that's not, I almost have no interest at this point in spending my time answering all the questions that I've already answered and that I have content explaining. I'm just going to focus on my trading. Well, I'm usually doing really well, but my point is here. Someone says, "Is there a reason that you've been killing it? What changed compared to the past?" I mean, I'm usually killing it. I had like a 9-trade win streak in here. I shorted the absolute pico top of Bitcoin. I shorted here. I mean, I'm usually killing it, but my point is, I haven't been spending nearly as much time on the charts. Just been planning out my trades and taking them, and I've basically pico topped and bottomed every setup. I mean, most of your time is spent waiting, but the point is, I don't really need to do anything other than plan my trades and take them. I mean, I don't really need to spend that much time analyzing the markets. If the whole structure of everything starts changing, then hopefully I adapt and trading the right direction. But it's just fixed range volume profile. Someone's asking what this is. What's the name of it? I think you have to have a TradingView subscription. Yeah, I still do. I still scalp when I'm available. I mean, I took some scalps in here. I shorted this into these lows. I didn't short this. I wish I had. I probably would have. But it's like for me, like this is like, it's a nice trade. It's about $9,000. Nice scalp. But I also took a long and got stopped out on the weekend. I took a long here. Basically just as a hedge to all my shorts. Go enjoy the rest of my weekend, which I didn't get to enjoy it for very long because I had to come in and long Doge and XRP. But anyways, yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm gonna sound like an absolute ass probably, but like somebody's saying, can you talk more about how you go about positioning your stops in confluence with order flow, market structure? There's no easy answer. There's no quick. I mean, there's no quick answer. It's literally what I do every day in the Discord. I mean, it's what I'm doing in the Discord when I'm sharing all of my trade setups. I mean, I have 75,000 or something updates in the Discord over the last 3 years. I'm trading everything on all time frames all the time, setting up trades. So it's like, and explaining why I'm setting them up that way. And so I would just say that like, that's what that's for. The reason I do that is because that's how you can learn that stuff. There's different types of setups, different types of contexts, or different types of trades. You know, sometimes my trade might have a 0.5% stop, and sometimes it might have a stop 5% away, right? And the point is, there's no the best way to understand something like that is, well, you could watch the videos I have on those topics, right? So here's some examples. They're short videos, concise, to the point, and then see live examples of those trade setups 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, right? And so that's the best way to do it. I mean, it's all context dependent. There's no shortcuts to any of that, right? There's like, so the reason, you know, I don't even want to talk about it is because it's like there's almost no point. The best way to learn it, I've already cultivated an environment to learn it in the best way, and probably the only way. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest. It's like I'm sitting here kind of thinking, like I wanted to get onto a live stream, but it's like, what is there really to talk about? I mean, we're either like this is kind of a clean. I mean, I could probably go dig up some examples of this type of setup here. Although, frankly, the rejection from the PLC and a new low does look kind of nasty. The other alternative idea is to come take all these lows. These are log scale trend lines. I don't know. I don't know how much. I mean, I like it. I like it. Just don't know how much I like it. Like, well, you know, maybe we have some really nasty war shit. If all this breaks down, run all these lows. Deal with it when we get there. If we get there. If we break down, I'm going to be taking a single stop here, and I'll trade this as a different setup. And so let me tell you the reason. Maybe this will make sense to you guys. The reason that it's like sitting on the live stream kind of seems, it's just not something I want to do for too long, is because what I really want to do is I want to trade some clean setups if I get them. I have some trades planned, which means that I'm going to have to be available, working, keeping an eye on things, doing updates in the Discord and whatever, whenever that happens. And it's kind of like a waste of time, really, to be sitting on this live stream any longer, right? I think. I mean, unless price impulse is straight up. Daily close is in 2 hours. That would be an okay time to look for that setup potentially. Yeah. Oh, we're getting a nice impulse now, so maybe if we can run the highs here, that could be interesting. All right. So I'll pull over the order flow. You know the levels I'm looking at here. I might not even take the trade if we just blast through, but I'm assuming there's a decent chance I'll be taking it. So same thing we're seeing, or we saw before. A lot of aggression coming in here at the highs. People get wrecked, start selling and shorting into the lows. Now we're rallying again. The volume here is a little more distributed on Binance. Getting a big cluster up here. So people longing the highs again, longing for the breakout. This can just turn into a range locally, of course, but yeah, I'd like to see this push up higher. Yeah, I don't really care about the news. I mean, good news comes out, bad news comes out. People top blast some longs. I'll just look at what's happening in order flow and on the charts, and if I take a stop, it's all right. But I'm not in the short yet, but price is coming up to the level I want to short. And there is the level. Yeah, so I started entering my short. I'll update the Discord. Might not print, but I don't mind entering this aggressively. I'll explain why in a second. But basically, this is the setup I'm in. The yeah, so in this instance, coming up into the key level, we're getting the big delta, the big volume. I have a little bit of room to breathe here for the trade. Kind of a news pump. And yeah, it's a nice region to maybe trap some longs. I want to keep an eye on things here for a second. Yeah, hopefully, hopefully you basically are just looking for a quick rejection here. Maybe a little bit of a range. Price up at the top of the GP. Pretty big volume, big delta. I'm considering just trying to think if it could ever make sense to add if we start showing some weakness on this impulse, but probably not. It's a little tempting. Probably just let it lie. If we're either going to reject here or keep impulsing, and I'll take a stop. I think if this all broke down, it might be interesting to tighten it up and add a little bit, but I'll probably just let it lie. And if we don't do this, then this is just grinding straight up, right? Probably to an impulse. Nice pump on Doge and XRP. I'm just taking a look at them because that's where my longs are. Yeah, I'm going to debate a couple things here, like if I should even ever consider the TP on Doge, but I probably won't. Probably just let the Bitcoin short play. It's not crazy, but yeah, I don't really like the idea of the TP there. Nice volume, nice delta. It might hold. We'll see. Yeah, I kind of want to think a little bit about, I mean, this would be nice for the alt longs if we just broke out here. I prefer just to have the Bitcoin short, and if XRP and Doge keep printing, then great. I don't really have too much interest in shorting this other high, but I'm just trying to think if what do I do here maybe. There's a decent chance that I'm going to have a decision to make here, which is to close the trade at entry. It's not uncommon. So you have this big point of control here, this major level. For continuation, to see something like this, and I probably do just close this at entry if we don't just insta nuke, and then I just find a different entry. I might not even get out at entry here, but like if we got something like this, big negative delta, little rally, you know, there's probably some local confluence here, and then a range here with lower highs and bearish divergences, I might just open the short again. But I really only like fading this aggressive move and holding that short if it looks more like this and comes back into that structure. Here, this is kind of a breakout. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see what happens here. I might close it at entry. I just look for a new setup. But usually, not always, you're not really gaining any value if you're in this short, closing on the impulse here, because like say you're halfway to your stop loss. I mean, oftentimes you're just going to be eating a full stop, where if you do really want out of the trade, you're going to get opportunities to get out back towards entry quite often, even if it's not a full break even, but close enough, right? Certainly the kind of thing you want to be shorting here. I just don't know how much I actually like this when it's not a clean technical rejection. Kind of looks sort of funny now, doesn't it? Like something like this looks a lot better than this. Yeah. we'll see what happens here. I'm probably out at break even. If we just nuke through this, I might even just trail. I don't like the look of this. I think that because the whole count was based off of or the whole idea was based off of a count I had, which I don't really think it looks as good now. We'll see. Could go one way or the other. Leaving it open works too. But just keep in mind that I'm kind of in this situation where I already have shorts on Bitcoin from higher that I haven't fully closed. So this would be an ad for me. And just trying to think how good I feel about this as an ad. Well, you tell me. I mean, so agent says, are you sure shorting is smart? So you only look at technicals, not news. Isn't that unsmart and unrational? Well, I mean, I look at news fairly often, but I don't trade it. I mean, it's pretty common for good news to come in at the highs and bad news to come in at the lows, right? Like what, I mean, it's basically like this. Not always. I mean, this trade could print, but you could have, it's not uncommon to have situations like this. Whoa, really good news, really good news. And then that's the high. And then this happens, and it's like, whoa, there's really bad news. And then this happens. And ultimately, you're just seeing what's happening in order flow. I mean, let's put it this way. If a billion longs open here into a billion market longs open into a billion limit shorts, like what we're seeing here, I mean, it's probably not far off a billion, really. Like you're seeing like 990 million positive delta, 202 million positive delta, but that's just telling you the difference in aggressive buying and selling into this candle. See some of these bigger, higher delta positions, increasing open interest. But on the other side of that, there's someone filling limit shorts, right? So there's two traders here. There's somebody shorting, there's somebody aggressively buying, and the aggressive buyers outweigh the aggressive sellers, right? That's the positive delta there. So here we even see maybe a little bit of a bearish divergence locally forming on Bybit. What I care about is what's happening, because is what's going to happen here is that if a ton of longs open up here on this great news, here's some great news, everyone. There's a ceasefire. So is so Bitcoin's just going to go to all-time high here, or are people going to get smoked? Right? Like it's like oftentimes people will. It's like a CPI or FOMC, like something slightly positive, slightly negative, and it's like a billion longs open. What does that really have to do with what the price of Bitcoin's going to be an hour from now, right? It's like these trades that everybody wants to be in, but I'm not so sure that that a ceasefire or I haven't even seen the news, just what you guys said in chat. I'm not so sure that that's like so bullish that Bitcoin's just going to keep going straight up, although it may, and I just take a stop, right? I personally wouldn't be longing here. But anyways, I might rethink this. I might just get stopped out of this short idea. It's actually kind of funny because the more I look at this, I kind of want to short this next high. Like it's kind of hard now. Like I'd have to think about this a little bit. Well, I guess this is a chance to talk about something that I think is important. So one thing as a trader is you need to remember that your last trade has nothing to do with your next trade, right? So let's just say that, let's imagine a scenario where I hadn't shorted here and price is pumping here, and the only trade I wanted to take was a short up here. What's the difference between having had shorted this and not having shorted this? There's no difference. It's gonna not affect the outcome of the next trade at all. And so if I hadn't shorted this, would I want to short this? Yeah, probably. I just need to think about the setup a little bit, and you know, if you know how to position size correctly, you're essentially, you lose 1R. If this works, you know, you make something like 7. So you're up 6R. But anyways, it's the last thing I'm ever going to be thinking about here is if I took a stop on another trade, would I take this setup? Because it doesn't matter, right? I'm almost certainly going to short this. I haven't even, someone's saying don't sweat the comments. I haven't even really read many of them. I don't know what people are saying. I mean, I really don't care. I've won like 8 of my last 10 trades, and my winners are like 5 times bigger than my losers. I could lose my next 5 trades and I wouldn't care. But I mean, I care about the trades I take, but I'm just going to take trades I think make sense. And believe it or not, I'm actually winning now because I have my alt longs, which are absolutely printing. XRP is just sending. So is Doge, kind of. S&P Mini's about to tag all-time highs too. It's pretty close. I mean, the thing is, I want to short that as well. I want to short the stock market at all-time highs. Be kind of interesting what happens here. Yeah, you can just go through the alpha content in order. I think that's the way to go. Yeah, I don't know what your experience trading is, agent. Says, don't mind me, lol. I just got salty because I took the short with you and lost some. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, if somebody takes a short with me and it's gonna get mad at me if it doesn't work, or a trade with me, I hope they lose everything. Because that's not the game that I'm trading, right? The game that I'm playing. Your edge plays out in trading over a series of trades, right? So you take 10, 15, 20 trades. Hopefully you make money. But if you get really fixated on the outcomes of individual trades, or, I mean, frankly, care at all, then you probably don't really understand your edge, right? I don't really know of any edges that can be evaluated over a single trade. But I mean, I might just literally lose back-to-back shorts here. Kind of has a bit of a neutral feeling to it because of the alt longs I'm in, but I'm not. The thing about this short is I probably have to take profit into the point of control. I can't. Probably can't justify holding this as a full position down to 97K. Alright, let me take a look at this. This would be a pretty annoying major low for Bitcoin. But, man, if there's ever an example uh, of wanting to just to trade your alt setups regardless of if you think Bitcoin could go a little lower. Because, if we just send to all-time highs here, we front ran the just such a big section of technical levels, like almost from 97.4k to 95k. So running to all-time highs here without a retracement would be kind of annoying, but on the Bitcoin front. But anyways, I mean, it came up, it's like taking this long down here on Doge. Why would you take that if you think we could get lower on Bitcoin? But it's like you really don't know what's going to happen, right? So you're just trading the Doge chart independently. Coming up at an SR level here too. I'm kind of yeah, a lot can happen here for sure. Could front run this high back to the point of control. Do I think it's risky to trade news days? No. I think it's risky to trade if you don't have an edge and aren't an experienced trader. I mean, people cope so much. Like, they just say stupid things. Like, people will say, like you see posts in here where it's like the price dumps and people say, I warned you, I told you, you shouldn't be trading right now because there's too much uncertainty. It's like, well, what if you're short, right? Like, or it's like, oh, this is why I don't like trading news, because I was in a trade and it didn't work and price went much higher, much lower. But what if you were trading the opposite direction? I mean, I find that the charts are typically quite technical and clean, regardless of news. News often is a catalyst. Like, at the end of the day, let's just say, I'm not saying we will reject here, and I'm not saying that I didn't just take a short lower, but let's just say this happens. I mean, this is probably my favorite setup, right? Taking a high into the major 618 into a descending trending structure. If you've been around the LATF for a while, like this confluence of structure is probably my favorite setup. And if you went back and looked at this chart and saw this tomorrow, you would say, whoa, that's so clean, that's so technical. But at the same time, it's all around a news event, right? Of course, price just might break straight out. But would I not take this trade because it's like, oh, there's news happening? No. I would venture to guess. I mean, if you go back to, this is a long time ago, but yeah, I mean, it was like World War III starting, all the stuff going on with Russia right at the lows here, the most bullish, best news in the world up here, and I was making jokes at the time. That's back in 2022. It's like, oh, should I take this trade? Because the news is so bearish, the news is so bullish. Should I take this short? But whatever. It's just a lot of times I personally just think it's cope and it's fear based and it's whatever. Like, I'm never gonna sit here and say, oh, this trade didn't work because news, right? I just think that's it just didn't work. I mean, you know, because people will say like, should I sit here and say, you know what, I've learned my lesson. I'm never trading. I'm never taking a trade again when there's news, or I need to make sure that the news is good for my trade. For every time this happens, you'll have trades that only work because the quote unquote news, right? So, I mean, I'm on both sides of the coin right now. I can just think. I can say, okay, I've taken this Doge long. Is it working because of news now? I didn't know the news when I took the trade, right? Now the good news is starting to come in, which frankly has me, I mean, more concerned about considering taking profits, but such a high time frame idea that probably not going to. Probably would prefer just to be looking for short setups. The other thing is, well, yeah, you know what? Everyone should do their own just collect data, right? Do your own analysis. A lot of people also just are bad at interpreting news. I mean, this is like it's the age old debate, right? You're trading these Gartly ideas. You're taking a short at the 886 and the 786 and whatever, and then all this bearish news starts unfolding, and you say, well, you know, you took those initial shorts before the bearish news, and they're only working. The only reason that Gartly is playing out is because you got lucky and bad news happened, right? Um, and there's no way to prove or disprove it, right? It's like if you're a technical trader, you're trading technical structures, and you'll notice oftentimes that some big bullish news will happen at the highs or big bearish news will happen at the lows. But do you really, I mean, if we reject here, do you think any of these longs are getting out with a win? Probably not. There needs to be some reason for people to long the top, I guess. I don't. Someone saying the ceasefire news got canceled by some Iranian advisor. I don't know, but I mean, it's funny. Some of the news, the quote unquote news moves that we've had um, over the months with the tariffs and everything. I mean, it's like a gong show, right? It's like we're pausing the tariffs, or we're putting these tariffs. We never said that. We're not doing that anymore. We're changing these tariffs. Like every 15 minutes, the tariff news is all changing. And it is kind of ironic or funny if you have like a big pump, there's a ceasefire, and then it's like, no, actually, there's not a ceasefire. Like 15 minutes later. Someone says, would you show your all-time high short stops to any new short stops here? I usually just trade the setups independently. Like if I'm like a common setup is like an SR flip, that would actually be kind of what this short was. Although I didn't hold this, I didn't hold a short down to here, but I took this initial pump, and I'm shorting this, and I end up taking profits into here. But say I'm shorting this, probably not going to close all my swing shorts with this setup, right? Like if this prints into the lows, then you're, maybe you're taking profits here, trailing something, and running the rest. But I wouldn't decide what I'm going to do with my main swing shorts based on what's happening here. It's kind of funny price action. Do I usually stream at this time? I haven't been streaming very much lately. I'm just swing long on XRP. Towards all-time highs and beyond. And Doge. All right, well, I'm not particularly interested in sitting on the live stream too much longer. I'm probably going to short this high if it comes. Probably do a little bit of thinking about the structure here, but probably shorting it. Yes, you just pay the same amount. You can pay 97 right now if you join with crypto, for the person asking. You can pay with Sol or USDT or whatever. It's pretty tough as far as the harmonic goes. I mean, I'd have to think about the timing a little bit, but really you have to take this high for the harmonic to be invalidated before its final target. Why do I feel like this? I remember this same thing happening back here. Where we had a 886 rejection here. There was a harmonic confluence. And we came in, we ran the lows, but we front ran the target. And these were big moves at the time, our multi-month range. And we ran these lows, but we front ran the target, but then we came up almost all the way back up to the 886 and had a run to the downside. That would be be a little tricky. You pump here and put in like another lower high. You know, you think about how nasty that price action is, right? You have the front run of the all-time high, which when I had this 886 short idea, somebody, you know, people coming like, why are you shorting when we're about to take the all-time high? But I mean, same thing here. You have the front run, you come in and you take the major low. There's a lot of similarities in this price action. You have a really big impulse, but front run this high and then just nuke and run the lows. Anyway, some similarities if we did put in a lower high somewhere here and then finally came down to these deeper targets. Even the structure of like the internal structures here line up pretty nicely. Like this little section. Like this would be tricky. Am I expecting another spike? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look surprising at this point that we wouldn't just take this high, but there's really no way to say. There's some bit of aggressive selling coming in now, particularly on Bybit. There's some aggressive longing, some of those longs closing aggressively at the highs. More aggressive selling, a bit of aggressive shorting coming in here. Arguably a little bit of a bullish look to some of this absorption. I'd be surprised if we don't take that high, but who knows? I mean, we're kind of in no man's land now. Like this level here look kind of clean. We didn't run these either. I'd be surprised if we don't take it, but who knows? One thing I'll just say for me personally, I don't like trading like with the idea in mind, are we going to get another impulse? Is there going to be another pump? You don't know. I like trading levels, right? So that level didn't work. There's a pretty clean level above. Is this really a critical idea? It wouldn't be the first time we just put in some lower highs in a trend, some front runs. Even this ended up being a lower high here. We'll see. I might wrap up the live stream. I might short this into the daily close. Basically, if we get something like this, with a bunch of more longs opening here, and a failed breakout, and I'd short the failed breakout. Might be taking 2 stops today. Let's see. Can I start streaming more often? If I want to, I guess, but I'm pretty busy. I, are you Here's the thing. Are you a member, agent? I didn't catch if you were a member. Yeah, I'm in the Discord pretty much every day. Yeah, I mean the just the only reason I say it is because I already work like, I mean, basically for the last whatever 4 years in the Discord. I basically am working 12 to 15 hours a day when I'm really busy. I've been a little less. I've been taking a little bit of time to do some other things the last couple of weeks, but still been managing to trade quite well. But anyways, the point is, I built pretty much everything that somebody needs in the Discord. I'm in there trading every day. So for me, streaming isn't a priority really because it's kind of low value. It's high value to do occasionally, but to sit on a live stream for 2 or 3 hours, watching live price action, there is way better things somebody could do with their time, including myself, right? Because oftentimes you're just sitting waiting and taking a trade set up, right? And then all the important questions that people have or the things they want to learn, learning them in the live stream isn't the best place to learn them. I guess I'll just finish by answering this question. Someone says, do you take spot positions as well or just leverage longs? It's irrelevant. I mean, leverage isn't a tool to increase the size you're trading, right? I use leverage so I don't have to keep a bunch of money on an exchange. So let's just say, like, you're gonna open a good example is like you're gonna open a $2 million scalp. Do I really want to put my $2 million onto some shit exchange? No, I'd rather just use leverage. Not because it really matters if it's a spot long or a quote unquote leverage long. It's just I don't want to keep all that cash on an exchange. But that's all stuff you can learn in the Discord too. It doesn't really matter. If you're $1 million long and price goes up X%, then it's the same thing. I'm not following the news at all, but a couple people saying it's not a ceasefire, and then someone else saying it is a ceasefire again. I haven't even looked at X. Okay, I just want to read this because it's kind of funny. Okay, it is kind of funny. You read the message. It's like, it has been fully agreed by Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions. It's like, so there's going to be a ceasefire, but, what are their final missions? It's like, but first we do have to shoot a bunch of rockets, and then we're going to do a ceasefire. It's just kind of seems kind of funny. I wonder if that could affect the ceasefire. Oh, and then the leader of Iran tweeted at the exact same time, "Those who know the Iranian people and their history know that the Iranian nation isn't a nation that surrenders." Anyways, it is just kind of funny. It's like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. I've always wondered, like something like a ceasefire, like the U.S. just kind of stealth dropped some bombs on Iran. What, regardless of what Iran would do in this situation, what is the downside to agreeing to a ceasefire? You're already at war. If you break the ceasefire, are you gonna get like extra bombed or something? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to short this again, to be honest. It'd be so much easier not. I mean, it'd be easier for me not to want to short at all if we had ran into some of those technical levels. Like if we had ran a little bit lower. I'm just trying to think. Like I don't want to get caught. I mean, I want to think a little bit about it. I don't want to get caught shorting too many times if the low is in, because what the absolute ideal scenario would be is if the bottom is in, to have just been not just long on alts, long on Bitcoin, and really longing everything. If this happens, that would be kind of sweet. But how much? It's kind of, you're so close to just being long only. And basically the short here is really just to grab that technical target and then just to go long. Is it really the most important short to be taking? Probably not, but man, I would love this. Just run a local low. Send it. Someone asked me about oil. I kind of think I'm kind of leaning towards all-time highs on oil. pull up a chart in a second here. This is kind of nasty, this rejection. But I've been looking at this. There's I wonder. Log scale's so messed up because when I went to a 0. Yeah, high time frame, I'm probably more bullish that we're putting in a wave 2. And we're heading to something like $300 a barrel or something. But might not be in. Maybe one more leg to the downside. All right, well, I think I'm gonna end the live stream. I'm gonna eat some food and maybe be shorting Bitcoin again. Maybe not. The easiest decision would be if we just broke straight up out of here. Then, hey, it's easy not to short, I suppose. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave my alt longs running. We're probably right in that kind of point where we're either gonna just see a really strong move up on alts, like let's say for example something like this on Doge. This comes up into the GP, you know, run these highs, and then maybe we you know, up towards 18 cents or so. Then maybe we just get a little small pullback towards the 382 or something. Retest this and get continuation. That'd be quite bullish. We don't really have to have deep retracements here, but we still may. Obviously, if Bitcoin does something like this, then we probably do get some deeper retracements. But yeah, technically, I like the look of the low being in for Doge and XRP, frankly, before a bigger move to the upside. So we'll see. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.